Welcome to one more lesson. That's part two of our reading the stories from Shakespeare. Okay, right now I'll share my screen with you guys just in and go back to the page where we stopped. Okay, we stopped here. I think Mr. Bassani chooses and a letter from Antonio. Very nice, Antonio in danger. So, guys, let's just remember. Welcome back to our lesson, right? To our reading of our story, to the reading of our story from Shakespeare. Okay, that's a simplified version for you, student, English student, A2 to B1. Even if you're B2, that's a nice practice in order to improve your speech, improve your fluency, and improve your vocabulary too. There's a lot of new words, a lot of good words, daily usage words that will recurrently appear over and over again along the story, along this book. Okay? So take your paper, prepare to take notes, and prepare to research the words. Whenever necessary, pause this video and research the meaning of the new words on the dictionary. The dictionary's link is here on the description of this video, so it's there for you whenever you feel the need, whenever you need to research new vocabulary. Okay, let's start. Here, Antonio in danger. Shylock was very angry with Antonio. One of Antonio's friends had run away with Shylock's beautiful daughter. They were in love with each other and they had run away to get married. They had also taken some of Shylock's money and jewels. Shylock was so angry that he ran through the streets of Venice. He shouted to everyone about his daughter and the money that she had taken. All the little boys in Venice followed him and laughed at him. His jewels, his daughter, and his money, they shouted. So here we have one part of Bassanio choosing the lad. Okay, just one thing, guys. Lad and lead, they're spelled the same, but they're pronounced differently. What's lead? Lead means a type of metal, okay, a very heavy type of metal. As for lead, which is a verb, to lead, yeah, comes from the verb to lead, means to guide, to be the leader, to, guide people. That's it. So here we go. When the angry Shylock heard that Antonio's ships were lost at sea, he was very pleased. He knew that now he could kill Antonio. Antonio asked Shylock to give him another chance to pay, but Shylock would not listen to him. Guard him well, Shylock said to the man who was taking Antonio to prison. Don't ask me to forgive him. Don't talk to me about mercy and forgiveness. I won't have mercy. I'll take my pound of flesh from him. But brave Antonio did not again ask Shylock for mercy, for he knew that Shylock meant to kill him. All Antonio wished for now was to see his friend Bassanio once more. Let's go. The court. Antonio was taken to court and the trial began. The Duke of Venice said to Shylock, Have mercy on Antonio. I have been promised my pound of flesh, Shylock answered. Antonio is my enemy. I hate him. Bassanio said, Do all men kill those things that they hate? It's useless trying to talk to Shylock, said Antonio. Don't wait any longer. Pass judgment on me and give Shylock what he wants. I'll pay you 6,000 ducats in return for the 3,000 ducats that Antonio borrowed, said Bassanio. If you offered me 6 times the amount that you just offered, said Shylock, I'd still take my pound of flesh. Give me my pound of flesh. How can you hope for mercy yourself when you show none? Asked the Duke. I have done nothing wrong, and I fear no judgment, Shylock replied. Give me my pound of flesh. As the Duke was wondering what to do, Portia entered. Portia entered the large room, dressed like a judge. Bassanio didn't know that it was Portia. Nerissa was with her, dressed like a young man. Portia took her seat as judge. Are you Antonio? And this is your agreement with Shylock? It is. Then, said Portia, Shylock must be merciful. He must have mercy on Antonio. Why must I have mercy on him? Said Shylock. Portia answered, Mercy falls like a gentle rain from the sky upon the earth. It blesses him who gives it, and him who receives it. Kings have mercy in their hearts, and God has mercy. He had mercy upon us. We all pray to God for mercy. So we should learn to show mercy to others. Do you still ask for this pound of flesh? I ask for what is mine by law, answered Shylock. So that's how this part of the chapter ends. As you can see, guys, Shylock is very, very inflexible, right? He does not show any mercy. Can you see this word here? Mercy. Mercy means what? When you forgive the other person, yeah? When you feel more elevated in relation to someone and you pardon and you forgive what someone has done wrong to you. Okay, that's the meaning of the word mercy. So, O wise young judge, Bassanio said, I offer 10 times the amount of money that Antonio has borrowed. Please change the law a little so that we may save Antonio. We cannot change a law, answered Portia. One law is changed, then other men will later want to change other laws. Oh, wise young judge, cried Shylock. Portia said, Let me see this arrangement, this promise of Antonio to you. Here it is. Here it is, answered Shylock, giving her the paper. Yes, she said. By law, Shylock may have a pound of flesh to be cut off by him nearest to Antonio's heart. Be merciful. Let me destroy this paper. No? Then, Antonio, be ready. And Shylock, take your knife. Oh, learned judge. Oh, learned judge. Oh, wise young man, cried Shylock. Have you brought anything to weight the flesh? Portia asked Shylock. Yes, answered Shylock. I have everything ready here. Do you wish to say anything? Portia asked Antonio. Only a little, replied the brave Antonio. Goodbye, Bassanio. Don't be sad for me. Tell your wife about me and how much I love you. If Shylock cuts deep enough, I'll pay him back with all my heart. I love you more than my own life, more than my wife, and more than all of the world, cried Bassanio. I would gladly lose everything in order to save you. Your wife wouldn't like that offer if she were present, said Portia. Then Gratiano, who liked to do everything Bassanio did, spoke about his own wife. I have a wife whom I love very much, he said. But I wish that she were dead and in heaven. Oh my God. Then she would be she would be able to ask God to help Antonio. Look at that. So, Nerissa laughed quickly when she heard her husband. It is good that you make this wish when she's not here, she said to Gratiano. If she were present, there would be trouble at your home. Not one drop of blood. Sorry, guys. Now, we're wasting time, said Shylock. Take your pound of flesh, said Portia. The law allows it, and the court gives it to you. As Shylock began to move towards Antonio, Portia spoke again. Wait, she said. There's something else. Antonio has promised to give you a pound of his flesh. but he has not promised to give you any of his blood. If you let one drop of his blood fall, you lose all your land and all your money. Oh, learned judge! Oh, wise young man, cried Graciano. Is that the law? Asked Shylock. You shall see the law, replied Portia. You wanted judgment, so you shall get judgment. More than you wanted. I will take the money, said Shylock. Give me 3 times more than Antonio borrowed from me. Here it is, Bassanio cried out, full of joy. But Portia stopped him. Wait, she said. Shylock wouldn't take the money earlier. All he wanted was his pound of flesh. That is all he can have now. No more, no less. Just 1 pound. And not one drop of blood. Shylock turned to leave the court. Beg for mercy. Portia had still not finished with Shylock. Just a second. There is a thing in my computer. Okay. Portia had still not finished with Shylock. Wait, Shylock, she said. The law of Venice says that if anyone tries to kill one of the people of Venice, everything he owns shall be taken away from him. One half of his money and goods shall be given to the city of Venice, and the other half shall be given to the person he has tried to kill. Your life now is at the mercy of the Duke, so fall on your knees and beg for mercy. I shall not kill you, the great Duke said, but half of your money is now Antonio's. You must give the other half to the city of Venice. Take my life too, cried Shylock. My money and my goods are as dear to me as life itself. When you take those away from me, you take also my life. I shall be happy to give up my part of Shylock's money, said Antonio. Shylock must promise to leave the money on his death to his daughter and her husband. Shylock promised. Let me go home, he said. I'm not well. Then the Duke set Antonio free. The rings. Antonio and Bassanio were left alone with Portia. They were full of thanks to her. They tried to give her money, but Portia would take nothing at all. Dear sir, said Bassanio, please take something so that you may remember us. We know that you do not want us to pay you, but we wish to give you something in order to show our thanks to you. Portia pretended suddenly to notice a beautiful ring on Bassanio's finger. It was the ring that she had given to Bassanio in Belmont. Give me your ring, she said. I shall wear it so that I can always remember you. Bassanio had promised to wear the ring forever. This ring, he said, is too poor a present to give to you. I'll take nothing else, said Portia. I'll give you the best ring in Venice, said Bassanio, but I can't give you this ring. My wife gave it to me. She made me promise never to sell it, nor give it away, nor to lose it. If your wife knew what I have done for you, she wouldn't want you to keep this ring, said Portia as she walked away angrily. Let the judge have the ring, said Antonio. He shouldn't have much more than a ring after all he has done for us. Bassanio thought again about the ring. He felt that he must show his deep thanks to the young judge, and he knew that Antonio was right. At last, he changed his mind and sent Graciano after Portia with the ring. When Graciano brought the ring to Portia, he met Nerissa again. The two ladies were still dressed like men, so he didn't know who they really were. Nerissa had also given Graciano a ring in Belmont. She said quietly to Portia, I'll see if I can get my husband's ring that he promised to keep forever, that he too promised to keep forever. Graciano and Nerissa. Portia and Nerissa returned to Belmont, and Bassanio and Antonio came after them. As soon as Bassanio arrived, he took Antonio to Portia and told her about everything that had happened. While the three of them were talking, Nerissa and Graciano began to quarrel. A quarrel already? Asked Portia. What's the matter? It's only about a poor little ring that Nerissa gave me, replied Graciano. Graciano tried to laugh about it, but Nerissa pretended to be very unhappy. You promised me that you would wear it until you died, cried Nerissa. I gave it to a young man, Graciano said. He was only a boy, no taller than you. He was the servant of the wise judge, and he asked me for it. Portia was enjoying this, but she didn't laugh. She said sullenly, It was wrong of you to give away your ring. Graciano. You promised to wear it forever. I also gave my husband a ring. He would never give it away for all the money in the world. The happy ending. Graciano said Bassanio gave his ring away too. He gave his ring to the wise young judge, and then the boy, the judge's servant, wanted mine. Portia turned to Bassanio. You have broken your promise to me, she said. I shall never love you until I see the ring again. I gave the ring to a judge who wouldn't take the 3,000 ducats I offered him. He had just saved the life of my dearest friend. What else could I do? I pray you to forgive him, said Antonio. I once let my body so that Bassanio could come to marry you. I should be dead now if the young judge hadn't saved me. I promise you, upon my life, that Bassanio will always be a good husband to you. Then, replied Portia, give him this ring and tell him to keep it better than the other. It's the same ring that I gave to the wise young judge, cried Bassanio. And I was that young judge, said Portia. And here's my servant, that little boy. Nerissa was my servant. But that was not all. Portia gave Antonio a letter. The letter told Antonio that 3 of his ships had just returned safely to Venice. Come, said Portia. It's almost morning, and I'm sure that we all have many more questions to ask and answer. Let us go in, and we will answer all things fully. Let it be so, said Graciano. Come, young servant of the wise judge, or would you rather be my wife? And that's the end of the story, guys. Yeah? So as you can see, it's less than 15 pages long. It's about 14, 15 pages long. It's very short, so it's a story. We finished reading it thoroughly. Adding up yesterday's lesson with today's lesson, like 40 minutes. So you can read it in 40 minutes. If you have to stop and research a few words, let's say an hour, but you don't need to read it all in a day or in a single hour. That's the good thing about reading the classics, you know. You can read 1 page a day in order to improve your reading, in order to improve your comprehension, improve your vocabulary. There's a lot of words, a lot of expressions which are repeated, constantly repeated during these stories. And that's why I chose this book, because this story is shorter and they repeat the words in a way to make it easier for you to remember the vocabulary, the new words. All right. So if you have any questions, please write down here in the comment section, right? I'll be glad to hear your questions, to answer them, and to hear your suggestions too. As well, if you like this video, remember also to hit the like button so we can help many, many more people around the internet, okay? Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for being my guest, and see you next video. Bye-bye.